today is about money, sales, and leadership through the objections. And really the problem being of people on the fence, not buying. And so I've heard this when it comes to objections come up in many ways. People will talk about like verbal jujitsu, or they'll talk about Aikido, use the enemy's energy against them to flow it back. But wait a second, enemy fighting, what the heck? Especially when we're mission-driven businesses and we're bringing together allies and equals, like that part always, was not a fit. And so what resonates with me is leadership. Just like you're leading a team, leading allies, you're facilitating. It's like, okay, leadership through the conversation. And for me, that's a totally different frequency, a totally different mindset than combative, of like, I got to arm wrestle you back and forth. So when going through sales trainings, I always had to like cleanse, things through, or marketing trainings, cleanse it through, take out the things that work and just like, take a shower after the things that didn't work, didn't align. So with this, people on the fence not buying. And what does that look like? What does that sound like? Is, oh, I need to think about it. Okay. And Sensei, oh yeah, Tim says, there's no enemy, there's only yourself. Sensei Sebastian. Nice. We need like a Kung Fu Panda animation for that. So for hearing, I need to think about it in our conversations. This applies for hearing, maybe later in some way, shape, or form. Okay, the value isn't built up enough. The urgency isn't built up enough. Or, do you have some more information I can look at? Which usually is kind of like a polite way of just saying like, hey, can I, get on with my deal? And so with these ones, I've also heard too, like if that comes up, there's not enough value built with the program yet. And also another thing that comes up is, urgency. So anybody who's been in the marketing game, like Tim with your launches, this is Jeremy's lane right here. So, Brent, with urgency with team members and leading people, there's no urgency. There's people just sit forever and ever. And Huang, urgency focus when you're in attack mode or defense mode. So that being said, how do we build natural urgency that we can go to sleep at night? And a lot of us too, we're bringing together these masterminds, we're bringing together with friends. I know I realized early on, I'm like, since this is such a heart-centered space, if I can't be friends with the mastermind member, like we're not a good fit. And that goes against all the things that we hear in like typical marketing, like I remember reading Dan Kennedy, like PDF way back in the day. And it was like, do not have your clients as friends. And it talks about like literally, like you've got to put up a barrier between clients and friends so that they can pay. And I'm like, whoa, okay. That maybe works for like regular business, but like mission-driven, purpose-driven business, is backwards. So how do we do this all though? Because there is real power with the urgency. There is real power with the urgency. So how do we build that? And so what today I'd love to focus on is the clear cost of inaction, the COI. So we all know about the ROI, return on investment. What's the positive things that they're going to get for themselves, for their family, for their future, all these things that we can help paint the picture in the leadership conversation, as well as what's the cost of inaction. Because as we know too, Tony Robbins always talks about human beings will move faster away from pain than they will towards pleasure. Okay, great. Again, though, how do we do that as mission-driven leaders without doing the usual marketing stuff? Like literally the things that people teach in marketing is like you stab them with the knife, that's the pain, and then you twist the knife until they take action. Like that's literally, I've heard over and over in like marketing trainings. It's like, for Christ's sake, how does that fit with bringing allies together? And it's like a Shakespeare play. Okay, friends, and then boom, someone gets stabbed. It's like we don't want a Shakespeare play like that in our mastermind. So how do we communicate the cost of inaction without being a D-bag about it? And so what's really been coming through is cost of inaction for your mission, for their mission. And what is the thing that they want that you're helping them get, that dream outcome? What's the cost of inaction with that? And I feel like this is the pinnacle. Like if we do nothing else in our conversations, like talking about the 80-20 of the 80-20, if we do nothing else in our conversations, I believe if we just do this one thing, it'll take care of so many things. It's like the 80-20 of the 80-20, that 4% that moves the needle for everything else. Because let's take a look at the core objections that we face. I need to think about it. Okay, well, what's your mission? What's the timetable on your mission? Why is now the time for your mission? It starts naturally solving that. And again, it's them telling us instead of us pushing that on us. I don't have the time. Okay, well, your mission, you told me your mission, so that's we got to make time for that. Money is too much money. Okay, well, there's definitely like a value thing there that we can talk about and how to get the ROI. And it's like, what's the cost of your mission not being completed? Cost on time, cost on family, cost on your own soul beating down your door telling you that now is the time. And so with Brent, with the men's work, I mean, men, I feel like this is like really suited for men, especially. It is for all of us too, but like men, you can have a hard conversation, like as a man, as a father, as a leader. It's like, brother, let's go. With Jeremy and our talks as well, Jeremy, you've had such powerful phrases, especially when you get in the zone too, of like your soul is knocking. And that's a you thing to decide, not a me thing. Like, are you going to answer the call? And, Tim with the community tech, it's like community is on their heart, on their mind. It's there. Their soul is telling them to deliver this impact. And with Huang, with the grounded power, purpose-driven leaders, what is the value of being more in their confidence, clarity, power as a leader? Spouse, I need to talk with my spouse. I need to talk with my partner. As we all know too, those can be two different conversations. It can be asking for permission. Hey, can I do this thing? Or is it saying, which by the way, do we think the person's going to be exactly as clear, as convicted as us speaking to the spouse? Probably not, because this is our life. This is our business. We got the practice reps. So if a person's asking for permission, the odds of success with that, I'd say, is pretty low. But if the person is asking with, not asking, but like communicating with conviction, totally different thing. This is my mission. This is what I'm born to do. This is how it's going to help our life. It's going to solve these problems. I'm going to be mindful with, the investment in taking action. That's a totally different conversation. And what I've realized is like without the cost of inaction for their mission, like we can talk them through these things, but it's just so much weaker, I believe. It doesn't have the juice. And then belief. I don't know if it'll work for me. I don't know if I have what it takes. Well, is this your mission? Do you believe the higher power can still do with this mission without the ability to truly dig deep and do it? Another way that can look at is like, I don't know if the program will work for me. Okay, you can talk through specifics. But with that anchor point of, hey, if this is your mission and you're down to do whatever you can within reason to like get that done, all right, let's talk through the specifics. So I'll just pause here and 80-20 the 80-20, us being mindful of the ROI, what's the dream that they get, cost of inaction, the pain that they're being saved from. So we'll get in breakout rooms, we'll do this. I want to do a touch base right now of what's one thing that's standing out to you right now from this. What's a top insight, resonance,